when you donate to Western universities, you get a lot of our billionaires get a lot of media coverage and prestige, because they think that they are going around with in the same level as other whites, etc., and they want to be buddy with them, and that is the reason lots of money are given to these universities and colleges, and they have intentions. Their intentions are really good, but they are turning bad, and this is the problem. The Harvard University was formed in 1650 basically to educate Red Indians and convert them to Christianity. And you can see their motto. In the first line, if you read it, it says "In Christi Gloriam." That is in Latin. The translation of that is "for the glory of the Christ." So their whole motive, lifelong motive since 1650 is one: convert people. One way or the other. Educate them and convert, and use those educated to convert others who are not educated. So all donations, the one thing comes out that all donations are given with love. No intentions of hurting India or Hindus. However, their intentions are misplaced because they don't think through, they don't make their thoughts known, their goals known, because they are very busy, like Ambani, right? Mukesh bhai, how much time he would have in day, because he has like 30 or 40 different businesses that he has to take care of. Tata has more than 100 companies. Use of funds and resulting pain. American education is for America. One should never forget. You know why Tata, Ambani brothers, and all Mahindra and all, they succeeded? Because what they were able to reverse the thinking. Whatever they studied in United States, they reversed it. Because whatever they teach you here is for America. Prosperity of America, businesses of America. No matter what they teach, it needs to be reversed for Indian economy. And that is what they have successfully done it. As a result, they are billionaires in India and their businesses are succeeding. Now look at the second line. Not all researchers or professors are friend of India or Hindu. You see, you give it to the university, but some of them are enemy, devout enemies. So with donated fund, they can now do whatever they want. You see, and professors, and hence the university can drive their agenda. Nothing stopping them.
Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Indic Talks organized by Center for Indic Studies. Today, I, Aditya, would like to introduce you to a very special talk we will be having on the topic Good Intentions Turned Bad, a case of Indian billionaires. In the past years, Indian billionaires have donated millions of dollars to the Western prestigious universities, pitfalls of donations to Western universities. To name a few, Tata, Mahindra, Wipro, Infosys, etc. Their intentions were good, to support the universities which gave them education, which propelled them in the financial world. However, it happens that the money donated was misused to create activities against India, the country of their origin, in some cases, and the country which made them billionaires. So how to guard against this? The good turned bad. The talk here is an analysis of the chronology, reasons, and how to guard against these pitfalls. To elucidate the same, we have our speaker today, Bhagirath Joshi ji. He is a historian and executive director of organization Archaeology Century 21. which he founded to search and establish the true history of human civilization. The role and influence of Sanatan Dharma was very important in shaping the mind, body, trade, medicine, and politics of these civilizations for thousands of millennia. However, the archaeological evidence of Sanatan influence is ignored, and Bhagirath Joshi ji has spoken in much length about the same. Many of his talks are of great importance, like India's 5000 BCE maritime history, Hindenburg Adani, and the exchange rate of India, Alumni attack, which he has spoken about in great length. I would urge the viewers that they do view that as well in order to get a new perspective on those subjects as well. I welcome you, sir, and I request you to take over from here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ojaswi. Let's start. My name is Bhagirath Joshi, and I have an organization here, Archaeology Century 21. And we do a lot of research on the connections, old time connections with India and the rest of the world. So today's topic we have is the good intentions of Indian billionaires turning into bad intentions, bad things. Not intentions are still the same, but how they turn around. And the topic is, let's explore that. So we have, here the title Pitfalls of Donations to Western University. When you donate to Western universities, you get a lot of our billionaires get a lot of media coverage and prestige, because they think that they are going around with in the same level as other whites, etc., and they want to be buddy with them, and that is the reason lots of money are given to these universities and colleges, and they have intentions. Their intentions are really good, but they are turning bad, and this is the problem why it's happening like that. Let's go to the next slide. Here, this is what is appropriate. See, this is the picture I took it from online, and you can see the woman is quite gullible, very happy, and the person is a wolf. Even though he might be good looking, talking to you nicely, everything, but his intentions are bad, and you can see that as a wolf. Now let's go to the next one. And he's saying, trust me. Yeah. So today's talk will progress like this. So we will first figure out what is the makeup of this prestigious Ivy League university, Oxford, or Cambridge in England, and all those, basically, so we will discuss about their formation, their initial funding, where it came from, and their lifelong motto, means during the lifetime of the universities, what they want to achieve. And that is the motto that we are going to talk about. And their long-term goal for the humanities. Now, the other topic we will also discuss is how the students at these universities are nurtured that they are ready to give such a huge amount, with any due diligence. No due diligence, just give them, just hand them over that much money. So what kind of education they received, what kind of how they were nurtured at that university when they were the student there, because all these billionaires at some time were students at these prestigious universities. Now, there is also one topic that why they do that. That's why special treatment and love given to the foreign students. And why successful alumni donate. There is a reason why they donate. And that is another issue. I already talked to you about they are also looking for prestige. And that's one of the reasons they do it. But there are many other reasons. Analysis of funding by Indian alumni. So we'll go through the brief analysis and see who donated what. And then use of funds, we'll discuss that little bit. And then the resulting pain out of it. Because their intentions are not bad. They are still, all these billionaires are still patriots. They are patriotic towards India. And still, things are going wrong for them. So the last thing that we will look at it is how to safeguard their intentions, that universities don't misuse those funds, because that's what the biggest problem. And also, how they can alternately would have funded to get the same intentions they had to, within India. So that also we will discuss. So let's go to the next slide. The makeup of prestigious universities is mostly they have Protestant roots. The Protestants is a faction from Christian church, Catholic church. So they didn't want to follow the Pope, and the King of England started the Protestant thing. And those who didn't believe that, Catholic church, and then Protestants in the beginning were made to leave England. And all of those, from Mayflower and all these 13 colonies that were formed in United States, the New York colony, Rhode Island colony, Vermont colony, New Hampshire colony, Massachusetts colony, Virginia colony, Georgia colony, all of those were formed by the Protestants. So, there is a religious affiliation, and they were devout Christians. All those were devout Christians. So let's go to the next slide. Here it is. The Harvard University was formed in 1650, basically to educate Red Indians and convert them to Christianity. And you can see their, motto. In the first line, if you read it, it says, "In Christi gloriam." That is in Latin. The translation of that is "for the glory of the Christ." So their whole motive, lifelong motive since 1650 is one: convert people. One way or the other. Educate them and convert, and use those educated to convert others who are not educated, because they will be of their own tribe and they will convert. So that is the Yale. Yale has also the same thing. Okay. And originally Puritan, that's another faction too. That means Puritan is from the England, who call themselves pure Protestants and pure lovers of Christ. Princeton, originally Presbyterian. Presbyterians believed in converting using punishment. And they formed the Princeton University. So you can imagine the goal of all of this was the same: educate their own people also, but also educate some of the Red Indians so that they can be, so the local population can be converted into Christianity. The Brown University, the same thing, they were Baptist. Columbia, see, Anglicans. Cornell, also the same thing. And the chancellors even today are devout Christians, and chancellors are picked from the priest, and they are mostly pastors, who preach in the church, and also has a very high position in Christian church. So that is the history. Everyone should know that they don't have any other motive other than promoting Christianity, one way or the other. So now you see that, why all the activities which is resulting from United States is against Hindu. And there's a Hindu phobia. It's not, but this is in the roots, you see. So money you give them, they are now free to do whatever they want to do. Let's go to the next slide. So from the previous slide, you see that, their goal is for the glory of Christ. So, I'm asking the question to all the students and whoever is listening, that do you think that goal is changed? It is not changed. All presidents are good Christian and pastor. If they don't say they are good Christian, even president of United States cannot be elected. They have to declare that they are good Christian. That means the religious affiliation. That is why, the Bobby Jindal, who was the governor of Louisiana state here in United States, he had converted to Christianity before he got elected. Only Harris, she has converted to Christianity. Any other, except for one, Tulsi Gabbard, she calls herself, and she's from Hawaii, and she calls herself, the Hindu, proud Hindu. So there is not much courage in these people. Some of the rich people here who becomes billionaire, they also convert to Christianity because they want to be buddy with them. So that is another problem we have. So they don't really know the history that much. So next slide. So what happens that, the question everybody asks that why these students, former students, are always donating. And the reason for this, they are, as soon as you come, or even before you come, the love starts, they start converting you to their environment. And when you come to US universities, any one of these, Ivy League or any other colleges, because most of them, all of them are Christian colleges. There are no Indian colleges or Red Indian colleges. Everything is Christian. So they have such a friendly atmosphere that you will love it. First of all, they maintain their campuses in such a beautiful way that as soon as you go there, you are mentally quiet. You feel quiet, peace, and the professor, support staff, whoever you talk to, they will be all cheerful, ready to help you, ready to guide you, and while being friendly, during your term there, where studying term, the education is not compromised. They will be friendly, but the standard of education is maintained. It's not that, I'm friendly, so I'll give you extra 10 point. No such thing. And testing is also not compromised. So that is the reason you excel with a friendly environment, because even professors on a first name basis. Here you don't say sir to anybody. In the beginning, when I came to university, I was calling him sir and he was getting offended. He said, I'm not your sir. I'm not sir, that's the title. So that is how things went. And they are so friendly, invited to their houses, everything, have parties at their house, everything. And so you feel like $1 million. You feel that you belong there. Okay, so all this, and no one looks down on you. If you don't know anything, they know that you are in the university and you came to learn here. So they will teach you, guide you. They will show you where to find things, etc., etc. and they will be so friendly. Now, let's go to the next slide. So everybody is cheerful. And then not only that, for your campus life, and they know that you are away from your house, basically, home. So they set up various fraternities and extracurricular activities for the weekend so that you can participate on all those things, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night, they have theaters on campus, they have a dancing halls they have red scalars, red scalars where you do extra activities, meet people, sit down, have drinks, all those kind of things. And that is all on the campus. So what it is that you don't feel as if you are not not welcome. And everybody will try to understand you because you are from the other country. So they will ask you, how do you like America? That is their first question. How do you like here? And the second will be, tell us about your homeland. So you will tell all those things. And they become friends. They will ask you questions and make, feel really, really great. Okay. So you feel as if you belong to that campus and that is your family. So they create a family atmosphere. Let's go to the next slide. So what happens that you build sweet memories, and along the way, you can also find the life partner if you are interested in it. And many Indian students also marry other Indian girls and all those kinds of, or the white girls or whoever. So, and the girls also do the same thing, like Kamala Harris's mother married a black guy, you see. So depends on their choice and how they are courted. So,
just a slight question that comes to my mind.
mhm.
Since you said that most of these colleges have Protestant roots, Christianity in many cases has been called a political religion instead of really being a religious sect. So you can see that Protestant colleges often become the grounds for, uh, you know, anti-Christian movements as well. If you see the kind of support that they show to Islamic groups, the kind of emphasis they give on Islamophobia, the kind
Yeah,
of community building they do for Indians.
I will tell you about that. What it is that the reason now you see the Islamic movement taking place there is because since 1950s or 60s. So if you remember, you may not remember, but if you have read about McCarthy trials, have you heard of McCarthy trials? So McCarthy trials were the trials of the communist people, communist thought. They did not want the communist thought in United States, because what communists have, and if you understand the communism, they don't have any allegiance to uh, country. They want one world, one government, and everybody equal. Now, those communist people who were tried at that time and were stopped in their track, they changed their way of infiltrating United States. So they said the best way to do will be through the education system. So since 1950s, many communist thinkers have joined at a very high level, including professors, and they are tenured professors. That means they cannot be taken out of the university. So they have, and they propagate this. And the way they propagate this, they select the students who are gullible and can follow their ideology. They will ask them to do the work. They give them the assistantship. So what happens that it's after school, this is your project and I'll pay you from his fund that university has allocated. So that is how they train the students. And the more students are trained like that in communist thought. Now, if you look at the Islam has single thought. Everybody is the same in theirs. So it aligns with communist thought. So they have picked up Muslims, and they are promoting them. You see, the Christian group and Christian professors, they don't want that happening. But these are Christians, but they are like converted type. They are modern. You can call it not very devout, but they will play the role of both. They will even go to church, they will even go everywhere and play both sides. So that is what they do. So as a result, you see this new movement going on, which is anti-Christian. In fact, this is another, there's a very good book by Rajiv Malhotra, and he has done a very good analysis in it that snakes in Ganga and the breaking India forces. But in snakes in the Ganga, he shows that where this movement is originating from. So here in United States, they have also implemented the same strategy, break USA. So break United States of America, and that activity is going full-fledged. And as a result, the Obama years were more detrimental in doing this breaking, where they call African Americans. In fact, some of them are not even from Africa. They say we are not from Africa. They are born here in United States, brought up here in the United States, and they are called African Americans. So it's like creating a caste system. They are playing with a caste, and now Black life matters. So what about other people's life? You see? And they are not telling them that, look, if Black life matters, then it is your responsibility and to protect yourself by not doing the bad things. Like you cannot just go out and threaten somebody and take their money. You don't just start selling drugs all over. You have to study. None of those things are happening. They just want Black Lives Matter, and they are now giving them just like the reservations we have. They are entitled. They just call themselves entitled. So the situation has worsened to such a level that in California, if the black man or any man goes to the store and steals $900 worth of stuff and walks out in a broad daylight, even the police will not stop because they cannot prosecute until he steals $1,000 worth of thing. So you can imagine. So this movement and the communist thought has penetrated to such a level here in United States through this university, the same university which were built in, but they hired the wrong professors. And after the McCarthy trial, during the McCarthy trial, what was happening that they were exiled. But when the McCarthy trial stopped, they all came back and they changed their strategy. And they said, let us infiltrate the education system and create the new communist thought, Because, basically, a simple thought is that if you are smart, if you are hardworking, then you get it. If you get your education, but here the thought is that I am black and give me everything, or I am Muslim and I am penalized. So that thought, those are the issues, very big right now here. And what we see anti-Hindu activity is a result from that. Actually, anti-Hindu activity started by communists, and Christian also participated because they want to convert, right? People, if they convert 100 crore Hindus from India, they have won. So the Ivy League colleges thought that it was going the right way, so they supported this, communist thought professors and students that they nurtured to bring the communist idea. But now what is happening is backfiring in United States. So the same turn around, and now they are applying here in United States, breaking USA forces. So both this is the result of the same Ivy League college and their original thought, which has penetrated on both sides. They thought, they can have a barrier here and it can just propagate to India, but it doesn't stay that way. It goes both ways. When you point a finger at somebody, four fingers are towards you see, or three fingers. Yeah. So, so that is the situation. But let's go back to the university. And so what happens that they will give, if the Indian student does not have any means of income, they will give the job like this, the one that I talked to you about, some research job, something extra, some assistance, so teaching assistance, those kind of things they will give. And what that does is that brings them closer to the university. In some cases, they will forego complete tuition fee, which will be as much as $40,000, $50,000. And on the top of it, they will give you $20,000 to spend by giving you the work that they want done. And they would give you in such a way that, like, if you are a foreign student, Indian student in humanities, then they will ask you to do some research in Hinduism and find the dirt, we have some festivals and some beliefs, those kind of things, and use it against us. And they will make them write the article against it. They will publish it, and that is how they do activities against it. So they use their money very wisely for their advantage. Okay. Other thing is to make students feel at home. They let you do your own associations. Like, say, if you are from Nigeria, you can have a Nigerian association. If you are from India, you can have Indian association, and you do activities that you like. They even fund in the beginning, and then you are supposed to raise the funds, little at a time. So you do some other activities, fundraising activity, and get. So you are trained that way also. You are trained for the life, where you have to do certain activities like raise the fund, run the association, all those management skills. You can also have that on the top of whatever you are doing. You see, so that is so everybody, even the chancellor, will be interested in your work. So chancellor is very high level, but he finds the time to see all these things and comes to these special occasions also, makes a surprise visit. He is fully dedicated. Okay, because normally before, what used to happen, that they were all priests. They have not, so they will be, in that one. Okay, next slide. Mhm. And especially those who have political connections or rich parents, those students, right? They are made to feel at home so much that they will think that this is it. This is my second home, and that is what they feel. And when the student graduates, he become, he feels as if he is leaving his home. When he leaves the university for his own work, he thinks that he is now actually going away from another home that was so dear to him. So that is the experience they have, and this is true for all students, foreign, local, everyone, because once you join that university, you join it for life. That is the kind of environment they do. They will have a, so next slide. Next slide. So the now question is, why successful alumni donate? So you already know why because they now feel as if this is their family. The whole university, no matter who is a chancellor, who is what, they want to be part of it, and they feel that this. Even today, like sometimes when I go to Boston, I'll go to Boston College and roam around in the campus because it makes me feel good. You see, so those kind of things are to every student, no matter who it is. And what happens that parents who have graduated from those universities, they send their kids to that university. They insist that they go there. And they talk about, oh, we have 3 generations in that graduated from that university. So that kind of pride they have. So the first thing is the pride for the universities. So when they are nurturing, when they are going to school, they are creating the pride so that the student is always bound to come back, no matter at what level. So that is the reason. So, and they set up an alumni association. I have seen, like I still get Boston College. Someone who is 90-year-old, he is also writing, who had gone to Boston College. He is writing that this is my last letter. Maybe I won't be able to write the next one. And then he will talk about his classmates who had died, or now there is no one, only he is surviving, things like that. So you can imagine, they talk about, what happened to his wife and all, and if their grandson is going to Boston College, he will proudly write that. So that kind of attachment this university is created. That is the reason all the billionaires of India who has gone to Ivy League colleges or any college in United States, they are always bound to that. They feel good. They feel as if it is their home. So
So, in some of the
that's
cases where people have this sense of intergenerational going to the same college, these are
mm,
usually elite families that also have a very strong system of marriages where they don't usually just marry, in or like compulsorily in a love marriage. They usually do like to associate with similar Indian families with the same status and all of that. But when you go and get exposed to the American culture where interracial marriages and interreligion marriages are off the trend, it often sort of makes a conflict within that elite family's generation also. So then it becomes a very difficult thing to overcome as an Indian parent. What would
yeah,
you say about
you
that?
are right. But see, the in US families, these families here, they are getting the wrong exposure because people read only, the tabloids or the news that comes about divorce, interracial marriages, all those things. In United States, it is very strong. Only 5% is doing that. Marriages last longer. This is lifetime. This is a Christian country. Yeah, they are together till the death, set them apart. All these things, like Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor and those stories, multiple marriages, they are not here. It is not normal. All those things started after the communists started penetrating 1950s. All these things started after 1950s. Otherwise, this is a very strong family-oriented country. You will see that, if grandmother is sick, all the kids will just go there to the hospital. They will forget that, they have to go to job. They will say, I'm not going, my grandfather. I want to be with my grandmother or my mother. That's how it is. So majority of the families are, functional. It's the last, you know, 4, 5, 6 decades that has been deteriorated after, the stronghold of, since 1980s, stronghold of that. And here, the caste system is by color. Jew will not marry Catholic. Catholic will not marry Protestant. You see, Protestants will not marry Baptist. It was that strict, and it is in their mind. They don't want to mix up with those guys. And marrying a black was no, or the black marrying a white girl, or black man, or a black woman marrying a white man was a rare case. It will be all over, used to be all over in the USA. When there's something like that happens, every newspaper will cover it, so that something bad happened. So that is how they are. Here the caste system is by color. In India, we have a class system. We don't have a caste system. We never had a caste system, because you will see, Brahmin, you will say blackest of black Brahmin and whitest of white Brahmin, and they were all sitting together to have a family relations. So it's a class system based on education. Our system is based on education. Like if now that we are on this comparing the two, in United States, it is based on color and money. Okay, that is the caste system. You could be a Catholic, but if the girl is very poor, okay, and boy is very rich, boy is gonna marry the rich Catholic girl. Okay, so that is how it is. So it is based on the money and the color. In
So, but
India,
even if so, but even if the marriages are lasting, the problem is that the culture in the household has deteriorated from being religious or cultural. The culture within the household,
no. Everyone goes to church every
okay.
Sunday and
Uh-huh.
Saturday whenever they get a chance. Okay, so what you hear over there
Mm,
is not whole truth. It's a
okay.
part truth, but the real truth is that these are very family oriented religious
Mhm,
institutions. Yeah,
mhm,
here. And people, believe in that. They will get married, they will have children, they will have grandchildren, everything, and they will be together for life. I see a lot of examples. Not examples, the whole country is like that. Yeah. And the deterioration is there, of course, in whites and blacks and both. But even blacks, they like to have a family, and they keep the family. Some don't, who has a, but the deterioration in black families is more than the whites. That's what I have found. So in India, we have the class system based on education. So if you don't want to study too much, what kind of work can you do? If you don't study anything, you have to be at a level where you are just going to be cleaning something, because there is not much skill you have. If you have skills, if you have more skills and you have studied little more, you know little bit of farming and all that, then you are in that level, right? And then if you learn more, then you are a trader. So you are in the, Vaishya level. So Shudra, Vaishya. And then everyone who is doing any business, doctors, everybody is Vaishya. It could be doctor. So money doesn't matter. In our case, money doesn't matter. Money could be anything. The small shopkeeper is also Vaishya, and that is the level. And the Kshatriya, who is ready to fight for the country or ready to fight and fight to protect somebody, he has to learn little more. So he is going to be in that education. So that is the, and then Brahmins who has to educate themselves to the such a level, and it is the smallest minority. We are less, Brahmins are less than 3% of the population of India. Actually, real minorities are Brahmin, but the government does not understand that. They are looking at differently. And even Supreme Court refuses to give the definition of minority. 28% cannot be minority, 10% cannot be minority. It's a minority majority. It's a under the majority it comes second, third, or fourth majority, but cannot be. So real minority cannot be more than 5%. If you go that way, then the world will be, I mean, India will be good, because we are also worried about India. So now, going back to our after that analysis, going back to this one. So every alumni at the Alumni Association in United States, they publish a magazine for alumni specifically. Every quarterly or monthly it comes. It has all the achievements that university wants to do, university's goals, everything is in it. And if you succeed, and also they give you the portal, or you can call anyone and update your information if you are a student at that, you were a student alumni of that, and they will make sure to keep in touch with you. Now they cannot keep in touch with everybody, but those who succeed, they are going to keep in touch with them, who becomes billionaires or millionaires. They all keep in touch with each other, and that is a lifelong process. So once you are in university, you are bound to that university for all of your life. And that is the thing. So and university also takes care of that. So that is the reason, successful alumni are also appointed as the advisory board of the university. So that is another step they are doing. And any projects, everything, they announce to all the alumni and say, we want to do this and we are raising the fund. So, whoever can do, and those advisory committee advises how to go about it. So let's go to the next slide. So all activities and achievement as that we already talked about that in the magazine, what will be included, and chancellor always writes one-page article of the latest student news, the alumni news. That if some alumni has successfully done something, some merger and acquisition or anything, all those kind of. So it is all done. So this way, they are, so alumni take pride in the university goals. If university wants to build something or wants to start another program or all those things, they take interest in it, they fund it, and whenever they get a chance, they are ready to fund the payback. Okay, university gave us so much love, so they want to also give back. So that is the situation. Next slide. So let's go to some example of donations. Okay, and this mostly I am showing you the India's Indian origin people. Indra Nooyi, now everybody knows she was the CEO of Pepsi Cola company for a long time. She donated $100 million. Now we know that because we are in the Indian circle. The amount that was given to the university was never disclosed, you know. So nobody knows other than the inner circles and the Indians. So she gave $100 million. That's a lot of money. And when she gave the money, let's go to the next slide. See, look at her reaction. Nui said, you can read it.
She said that my experience at the Yale School of Management forever altered the course of my life. My gift to this wonderful institution pales in comparison to the gift that Yale gave me. The fundamental understanding that leadership requires an expansive worldview and a deep appreciation of the many points of intersection between business and society.
So you can imagine the nurturing that they did is reflected right here. You see, she might have gone for 2 years, 4 years, whatever. But that is reflected right here in the sentence where she gave $100 million. She has given more than $100 million to that institution. But imagine the thought and her intentions, you see. There's nothing she is saying is against India, you see, or against Hindus. She says nothing. Next slide, please. See, Tata Group's gift to Harvard Business School. See, Tata didn't give to humanities or anything like that. He simply gave it to the Harvard Business School. You see that? So Ratan Tata gave $50 million in 2010. Imagine right now it is more. $50 million in 2010 is equivalent to 100 million today at today's exchange rate. I owe a great deal to Harvard Business School, and at that time, what Tata said, I owe a great deal to Harvard Business School. And it is a pleasure and a privilege. See that? Pleasure and privilege both. To be able to give back a little bit of what it gave to me. He still thinks that after giving $50 million, it is a privilege that he got a chance to do it. And that is, and that is little bit compared to what the Harvard gave it to him. So he's still indebted, you see. Even after giving 50 million, he's still indebted. So you can imagine, and then you can look at, further, you can read it. Sorry. Harvard Business School is the preeminent place to learn about the world's most innovative companies and to be exposed to the world's best thinking on management and leadership. By supporting the Harvard Business School's educational mission, this gift will help the next generation of global business leaders solve management challenges that affect the lives of billions of people. So his goal is such a noble when he gives that, right? But then it gets misused. So the goal is that, and the way they nurture, that is the reason that is given. And you can never forget. And he didn't give it to humanities who can directly interfere in India. He gave it to this one. Now what happens that when Indian billionaires give it to the business school, and Harvard has not only one, but he has many departments. If some department says, I need money for India, do you think university is going to look back and say, no, you don't get any money? So they will fund their own money because this one is attached to just the business school. So they will find some money within Harvard to fund that the research that some professor who did not get any money wants some money, he gets it, and that is how anti-Hindu, because of the relations. Because when they look at this student, they also look at India, and they want to do something good for India, the one who allocates the money, but the professor has an ulterior motive, you see. So he will do something totally drastic, because he will go do his thing. He says, I got the money, I do whatever I want to do, right? Like you give a drunk son 2,000 rupees, first thing he's going to do is buy a bottle, right? That's how the situation is. And he might say that, oh, I need it for, it's very important. The son might give you some different reason. So that is the situation. So let's go to the next one. Now, Reliance Industries Fellowship for Indian MBA students. See, he has done it for Indian MBA students, okay? Reliance Dhirubhai India Education Fund he had set up, okay, with a lot of money. So they get it, and that is done at which university? I forgot.
Stanford.
Okay, let's go. Stanford, yeah. He did it for Stanford, yeah. GSB, yeah. Stanford, yeah. Stanford, yeah. It says student at Stanford. So in Stanford, now students should also know that they can apply to Stanford, and they can apply for this grant also, you see. So he has done something for the students, give the money, say, okay, go graduate there. And he has a special requirement that if you get his grant, then they have to go back to India for at least 2 years and work for Indian companies. So that's what he has done, you see. Because in our newspapers in India, they don't tell you the whole story, you see. Here goal is to teach them that this is what he has done. Now if it backfires, it's not his fault, you see. So that is the thing that one has to know. Okay, let's go to the next slide. There's another donation by Reliance. The Wharton School. Anil Ambani gave that money, undisclosed amount. So you can imagine how much it might be. Undisclosed. He hasn't disclosed how much. Here we also don't know how much, but I am sure it is more than $50 million that he has given. And that is also for the same reasons, that okay, for the students and other staff for there. So next slide. This is another donation. They actually build the building for them. You see, multi-million dollar. I think he gave 50, 60 million and built the auditorium that they needed or something, And look at that, what he said at that time. Mukesh Ambani. Okay. He said, with India now a truly globalized and rapidly growing economy, good management talent developed at both India's top universities and the institutions abroad will be essential to supporting future innovations and growth. I am honored to help India's next generation of leaders attend Stanford business schools, an academic institution with an international reputation for innovation, diversity of student experience, and the highest quality of faculty and students from around the world. So his goal is to support the Indian student, and that's the reason he gave. That's the reason he built this auditorium for them. At Wharton also, if students apply at Wharton School of Management is considered to be the best in the world. So if students, good students who has good feeling for India apply there, so they will also will get scholarships and everything at Wharton, and that is the Reliance Dhirubhai Ambani scholarship. So you can imagine that. So his intentions are very good. You look at his intentions, but he is doing it, and the specific one, because he attended that one. Anil Ambani attended Stanford, and this one attended. No, Anil Ambani did the Wharton School of Management, and this one, Mukesh Ambani, did Stanford. So they have the relations, they feel it is their family. So that's what has happened. And the intentions are holy. There's nothing against India. Okay. And the reason they did it so that they expedite the admissions of Indian students to these two institutions. If they apply and they say, I'm from India, gets a preferential treatment. You see that? So that's the whole idea. And the requirement is that they spend 2 years with the Indian company in India after graduation. So that is another, Okay, let's go to the next one. Naveen Jindal. This one is somewhat to think about. He had all these things he wanted to do is, So he gives a 30 million joint gift to UT, University of Texas Dallas School of Management with this Charles and Nancy Davidson. So they, put together in the pool and gave it to them. Okay.
So, in the case of Naveen Jindal, he is the owner of OP Jindal University, which has been known to be the epicenter for a lot of leftist and anti-India movements and student movements that are not in the best interest of India's politics or India's
Mm.
cultural essence. So, do
Mhm.
you think his intentions per se are as holy as the others?
The university's goal is the simple, in glory of Christ, you see. There's no difference. It's a glory of Christ. Everything is for the Christianity. Okay, so that
But, sir,
goal is
what about
maintained.
the OP Jindal University?
Oh, in India,
Yes, sir.
I am not familiar with that or their workings.
Okay, well, OP Jindal
Uh,
University is owned by Naveen Jindal, and it has been the
mhm.
epicenter of a lot of leftist movement. And I
Hmm.
think a few minutes ago you were
See,
talking
it
about
all
how
depends.
maybe, yeah, a few minutes ago I think you were mentioning that maybe Naveen Jindal had converted, if you're not wrong.
Right, that is what I said, because this is
Mhm.
questionable to me, because some of the activities from Texas and all those, is not favorable. So, but he did it for management. But the next one, I was confusing with another next one. Yeah, next one. Let's look at the next line. See, Jindal said, what did he say? It is very important to build institution of higher learning. My vision and desire is that the Jindal School of Management becomes the school of choice for some of the brightest and best individuals, because he named this school of management here in UT, Texas, University, yeah, Dallas, UT Dallas, brightest and best individuals who will truly lead us into the next generation, leaders who will truly embrace the global vision and balance the need of the people with the environment in ethical and sustainable manner. Yeah. See, intentions are good. They always turn bad for some reason or other. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Aditya Birla Group gives 15 million. Now, not many people know that Birla also donated. And this is to London Business School. You see, it's a United Kingdom donation. Okay. And what does he say? I'm extremely proud to honor my grandfather's legacy. So his grandfather must have attended, who knows, and create something enduring through this landmark global scholars program at LBS, London Business School. through this program, we look to build a diverse and vibrant community of next generation leaders who are committed to the ideals of integrity, dedication, and service to humanity, the very values epitomized by my grandfather. So his intentions are also good, you see. So next, Tata Innovation Center. This is another one, done by a $50 million donation to Cornell. And this was done by the Tata Group, Chen. Okay.
So when
So
we
that,
talk about Tata, while Ratan Tata remains to be a national icon and he has done a lot for the country in terms of providing funds for a lot of government ventures as well. But if
right.
you see other ventures of Tata like Tanishq and others like these, they have always been under scrutiny for leftist advertising and
What
leftist
happens that
moves.
I'm not interrupting you, but see, Tanishq is a special case where
Mm-hmm.
who do you hire?
Correct.
Hiring problem. You see,
Mm-hmm.
the people you employ,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot control them what they do. You see, because the Indian laws are such that you cannot even get rid of them because they will go and become a martyr and they can hurt everything. So this is the issue, is where the hiring problem, you see. So if you don't hire the proper leadership or proper employees, that is the problem. So the problem is created by that department. It's not created by Tata, because you cannot, you have a vision for the India. That is what Tata Group did. The first Jamshedji Tata, the Jamshedpur, the steel mill, all those things, all the things that they have done, all the infrastructure, all the companies, that is for the good of India. Now, if someone who is employed, who has a communist or Islamic thoughts and wants to undermine Hinduism, and he does something in the advertisement, okay, and influences the wrong way, that is not the problem of Tata Group. It is the problem of that individual.
But then, so
And,
this threat,
and the problem, and it also is the against India activity he is doing, and
mhm,
still the Indian laws are protecting. Do you
correct.
think there is a law which says that Tata Group can fire anybody who, and government or the other groups will not involve, because it is their business thing, you know like if
Mhm.
i if i hire you, you go against me, and if I fire you, I don't have to keep you, but you can go out and make a
To you.
problems
Yeah. Yeah.
for years to come.
Yes.
So what I do, I just say, okay, you are here, I will give you menial task. I am taking out from this position to that position, you are not going to have it. So that
Mhm.
is how they solve the problem. India is a very, very complex, and lot of people since for the last 70 years,
Mhm.
communist thought people,
Mhm.
communist,
Mhm.
and who actually wanted to undermine Hindus were
Mhm.
ruling.
Mhm.
Okay. And that goes for Jawaharlal Nehru too.
Yes. So this issue actually percolates not just in the workforce that is employed by these people, but also the next generations that are going to take the reign of these corporations, whether it be the
Correct.
sons and the daughters of the Piramal group or Mahindra group. Their fathers and mothers are, huge celebrators of advancements in India. However, them coming from universities like Ivy Leagues, even for that matter, a lot of reputed colleges in India, for that matter now have sort
Yeah,
of
but
inclined their view to things like this. So in the future, it seems like it's only going to increase.
see what is happening, that the employment at universities here is also faulty, because now they are with the communist thought, anti thoughts. They are actually anti humanity. and they call it themselves humanitarian. So that is the problem, and the problem is worldwide. And the only solution is that when you hire somebody, do due diligence. Look at every aspect of that person before you allow them in your group or even institution, or even before you become their friend. Because nowadays the whole problem is such that you wouldn't know the friend that you make might be a jihadi. They even hide their origin. If he's a Muslim or he is some another group or Christian, they hide it. They want to undermine everything, and that 70 years, and it has been a worldwide effort since last 70 years, because at one point Russia was very powerful too. As a result, a lot of communist thoughts everywhere, and a lot of countries followed that communist thoughts. Jawaharlal Nehru did not understand basically anything actually. Even gave away, because China was communist, he gave away Tibet. Okay, this is my thought. Because when the Maharaja Hari Singh joined India, he writes that he is a Jammu, Kashmir, and Tibet, all three. King of Jammu, Kashmir, and Tibet, and he was ruling Tibet for long time, many generations. That family was ruling Tibet. But Jawaharlal Nehru said, oh, there's nothing, it's all mountains. What do I want to do with it? So that was his thought. He didn't even understand that minerals or all the, things it might have, gold, whatever, has a value. And if not, it is a part of India, just keep it, you don't give away. So those are the issues anyway. But this is the one which is very, very objectionable. I object to this particular giving, which says the Murthy family gives 5.2 million to Harvard University to establish Murthy Classical Library of India. That is ridiculous, because you tell them to do something, give so much money, they are going to translate your India's work without any supervision from any Indian, who knows who is Hindu, our Hindu scriptures, and convert and he will translate it wrong. You see, because it has happened here in United States. When they write a paper in universities about Hinduism, Ved, and all that, they don't quote Maharishi Vyas, but they quote who? Someone, some professor. And then another quotes that professor quoted again, and then he becomes as if he wrote the Ved. You see? So this is a problem. So this was the biggest thing that I would not have allowed them to even see. I'm happy that Harvard University Press is anchoring this publication project. That's ridiculous. He could have gone to, if he really want to do it, then he could have gone to our, Banaras Hindu University, or establish his own press in $5.2 million with sadhus there who would do it right way. Because our gurukuls, they are highly educated people. They also know English. They know many other languages. And they would have done a better job, giving Harvard. This is like a open, permission to kill the Hinduism. This is the biggest damage. And this damage is going to be forever. He didn't even think twice before establishing that. Should never have been done. He's happy to participate in that project, but our heritage will be misrepresented. Harvard is basically originally as a Christian. Their motto is in glory of Christ. That is their motto. And do you think they are going to do the justice to that? And with so many communist thinkers sitting there, they are going to damage us, and maximum damage to Hinduism and Hindus is done by this donation. And I can tell you, this donation has done the maximum. The other one is an indirect damage, like Ambani, Tata, all those, that's a indirect, because these kind of activities, when some professor wants to do it, he doesn't disclose what activity he wants to do. He gets money. He has to only mention India, and the university give him fund without much checking. So that is an indirect, but this is a direct. Let's go to so this kind of donation never be done, because who would do the justice to our scripture? Only Hindus. You cannot even have a Muslim there, you see. So, or Christian. And this is direct. Now this is Laxmi Mittal. This is also no. You see that? This is also misplaced one. He should have done this in India, given to Indian university. The previous one also would have done to Indian. Who does this kind of work, or give it to Gurukul? Look at that long-term prosperity. See that he wants to engagement with South Asia. That is where they do the research work in India, find out stuff, send the spies, to do the research work. So this is the worst kind of donation. No thoughts given, no due diligence done. I wonder even if he knows the history of India. The whites from England didn't come, or all over Europe did not come. In the Portuguese came in Goa, French tried to infiltrate. All of those, they didn't come to for some good thing for India. They came to steal things from India. And this is a open.
In the South Asian Studies Department of Harvard, the Sanskrit department, among other South Asian studies, is actually run by Michael Witzel. And he is using these kind of funds to further AIT, which has been disproved on
See,
several
the
counts.
situation in Bangladesh was also created by this.
Oh, okay. So, sir, don't you think that if they do want to donate for facilitating more Indian students going to such prestigious colleges, they should actually have advisors and supervisors to make sure that their donations are being used properly? They do have the power
No,
to
they have to
restructure.
see what happens, that they cannot have advisor or anything like that. What it is that you have to stipulate in the contract. Before you give the money, there is an agreement how it will be done. And in that one, you have to do the due diligence. You have to hire an attorney, lawyer, and you have to make sure that your goals are maintained. This is not used. See, they can use it in a different way. Send a students, to infiltrate, right? India in the rural area, and they will find out what are their weaknesses, what are they suffering from. So the next thing, that data will go to Christian groups, and they'll say, okay, they need water. So we are going to build the wells, go there, build the well, and convert them.
So by advisors, I think maybe if they were Indian advisors who have certain knowledge about how these universities work and what exactly goes behind the the back of their heads when they are getting these kind of donations, and how they allocate these funds. When these advisors are coming from the side of the businessmen who are donating, and then they make sure that they can track where exactly their funds are going within the university structure. That way, South Asian students don't even get the disadvantage of not having grants from millionaires, and they can also assure that these are not being used for anti-India activities.
See what happens that it's very hard. Even in India, look at the present situation. Who is doing anti-India activity? The whole political parties are doing it. Now, if you try to get somebody, the person here, trying to hire someone from India, he doesn't know which party he is in and what party is going to do what, or what is his affiliation and what the work he has done, because normally in India it is not visible. The people do the work. It's invisible. And so other person can never find out what kind of damage he has done in the past, or what is his thought process. So suppose this fund is there, and this is the University of the Harvard University hires somebody for India, happens to be Muslim. What is going to happen to Hindus? Or they hire some Christian, or they hire some left-leaning Hindu. What will happen? Or who has a very strong leftist affiliation from Bengal, hires him because he has PhD and all those kind of nice things. What happens to this fund? So best thing to do is to put the clauses there in the agreement, because all these donations that has been happened, they are done through agreement, that only certain way certain things will be used, and that agreement has to be thought out fully, and how it should be done, when you donate, where it will be used. Cannot be used for certain things. You have to stipulate what things that it cannot be used for. You have to stipulate and write it down, which goals you have in mind, and what that fund needs to be used for. So that is the main thing. Yeah.
So just
So
a
this,
slight reminder, we are
okay.
running out of time. So can we just wrap it up a little quickly, because then the recording will
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
on its
Let's go
own.
to the next slide, and then it is very easy, because we already discussed the
Yes, yes.
safeguards to be taken before donation, and
Mhm.
use of funds and the resulting pains. So how the pain are resulting, we have already discussed that. So we are just looking at how Anand Mahindra gave. This is also bad giving. Humanities Center. Okay. And look at this. Anand Mahindra, chairman of Mahindra Group, gifted 10 million in 2010 to Harvard University to support the Humanities Center. The gift, which was the largest in the study of humanities in the Harvard history. So since 1650, nobody has donated to humanities, because they know what the kind of inclination these humanities professors have. So that's the reason no one gives them. Even in United States, they don't even give them $1 million. And he gives 10 million, which is the largest donation at Harvard. Don't you think that 10 million is minuscule? But that is the largest for humanities center. So this should not have been given. And with that money, they run wild and make up these stories, like Black Lives Matter and all those. That is from that humanities department. Break India policies, that's from humanities department. So the humanities department, the professors in humanities and teachers they are the one. So this was the worst donation. And the last three donations that I showed you, right, those are to be blamed. It's not Tata, it's not Reliance, because that's the indirect hurt that we are getting. But this is the direct. They are saying, come kill us, come kill us. So that kind of thing. So let's go to the next slide. See, other donation, like, see, Nandan Nilekani donated 5 million to Yale University to underwrite the Yale India initiative. This is a dangerous donation. See, so I kept the dangerous donation last. Okay. Xander Group founder Siddharth Yog have also donated to universities abroad. Yog gave 11 million to Harvard. And I think he gave it to Humanities or something, or some other department which directly interferes worldwide. Shiv Nadar has given to create the Shiv Nadar Professor of Engineering chair at Carnegie Mellon University. Now that's very good, for engineering. Okay, next one. So now what do we do analysis? We already analyzed all of them. So all donations, the one thing comes out that all donations are given with love. No intentions of hurting India or Hindus. However, their intentions are misplaced because they don't think through, they don't make their thoughts known, their goals known. Because, they are very busy, like Ambani, right? Mukesh Bhai. How much time he would have in day? Because he has like 30 or 40 different businesses that he has to take care of. Tata has more than 100 companies. The head of the Tata group gets one report every day and he has to read it. The next report, when for the same company, he gets to read it in the 4th month. So what happens? He is just reading the quarterly reports. Then how they are doing it? One day at a time, and 100 companies or more than 100. So how much time when he donates, how much time he will have to think through? He says, okay, just give 50 million, and done. So he might have spent half an hour doing that. Instead, they have to put, and most of the donations done is for the business and all that. So damage is indirect. So it is not direct like the one we talked about. So now let's go to the next slide. Use of funds and resulting pain. American education is for America. One should never forget. You know why Tata, Ambani brothers, and all Mahindra and all they succeeded? Because what they were able to reverse the thinking. Whatever they studied in United States, they reversed it. Because whatever they teach you here is for America. Prosperity of America, businesses of America. No matter what they teach, it needs to be reversed for Indian economy. And that is what they have successfully done it. As a result, they are billionaires in India and their businesses are succeeding. Now look at the second line. Not all researchers or professors are friend of India or Hindu. You see, you give it to the university, but some of them are enemy, devout enemies. So with donated fund, they can now do whatever they want. You see, and professors and hence the university can drive their agenda. Nothing stopping them. So this money is doing that. So this is the thing. So every time you give, do your due diligence. Tell them what is your goal is and where the money should be is not going to be used. And then make a last line also. If anything like the misappropriation happens, we will demand the money back. That can be done. When the in Israel on October or November 7th, when that attack happened and in Ivy League colleges, there were demonstrations against Jews and favoring Philistine and Hamas. All the Jews who had given the money, they threatened them that we want that back. You see, that's how it was stopped. Money speaks. So you have to keep a stipulation that the misappropriation happens, the money returns to the donor. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I think that's the last one.
So I think
So we will be all done.
there
The
are
next slide.
2 points to be covered in this slide, or should I move to the next one?
Which one?
So use of funds and resulting payments.
Yeah, it's all done. We did it. Professors of university can, drive their agenda, whatever that is, because they don't have to tell what it is, and professors are free to do whatever they want. So, example of anti-India, anti-Hindu work is, Abhijit Vinayak Banerjee. You know him, right? He got the Nobel Prize for economics. Now that person comes to India and tells that every family or every person who is not earning anything must be given 6,000 rupees every month. How can an economist suggest something like that? Because if we give that, when do we build our roads? Okay. When do we do our infrastructure? What happens to our educational system? What happens to defense system? He didn't calculate any of it. With a 70% poor or not earning money, all the money would have been donated and we would be poor in 2 months. You see? So that kind of thinking comes from that person, anti-Hindu, anti-India actually, complete anti-India. So that's what it is. Then you can see the another, Doris Srinivasan. She has all the Indian students, some of the Indians. I know the one, Sneh Patel. Together they wrote this paper, Unhinging Shiva from the Indus Civilization. Can you imagine that in Mohenjo-daro and all other places, we have found the shivlings. And in the recent excavation also, we found 9. In Dholavira, we found 2. Everywhere we have shivling. And they want to unhinge it. Can you imagine that? So these kind of things, they nurture some students who are Indian origin. This woman, Doris, is married to Indian. That's why her last name is Srinivasan. Because what they want is, look Indian. But they are not Indian. You see? Like Sneh Patel. She even wrote a theory. Now, the Indus Valley civilization, right? It's such a prominent. And what she did in her thesis, she finds all this, pottery and compares them, saying that, they were very primitive. So I said, why did you? So when I looked at her thesis, I said, why didn't you put at least one picture of Mohenjo-daro so that they know what you are talking about, or Harappa, or Dholavira, or even Lothal? You didn't take any pictures. She says, I went to all sites, but I didn't take any pictures. I said, that's ridiculous, because in your thesis, you have to show what you are looking at, because what you are trying to do is what Americans did to Red Indians. You go to museum, they will only show their potteries. They will not show their construction, big buildings, big cities they used to have. There were 200 million Red Indians here, natives, not Indians, but natives. Out of that, only few of them has survived because they killed it off. They will use the word like Pueblo people, but Pueblo peoples means city dwellers living in the houses. The word pueblo is the Indian word, local word for the people living in the small cities, pueblo. That's why pueblo people, they will call pueblo people, you don't understand the meaning of it, they go kill them. And they only show their pottery and broken pieces and this and that. So that means they haven't advanced, and they have houses which are still lasting. You can go, they are like in United States, if it might be shocked to, or you might already know that there are 200 separate nations within United States. Those are Indian nations, 200, which are sovereign. They are not controlled by United States of America, and they are within United States. You don't see it in the map. Only you see in the Indian map. You have to get from the Indian reservation. They also call it a reservation, but it's not a reservation, it's a nation. The biggest one is Navajo Nation. That is the biggest one. So like that. So that is what they try to do. They try to minimize the the whole department, all the professors. I spoke to them. I said, why do you do that? Oh, that's how we analyze everything. I said, I'm not stupid. What you are trying to do here, you are minimizing something which was the well advanced civilization, because when you see a city of her, if you see the picture of that Harappa, you can see that there are two-story buildings, nicely done streets and everything, and people were prosperous. There was a taxation system, there was a lot of, and there was no slavery. Trading was going on. Those bricks were made in a factory somewhere by many factories and was brought in. There were skilled labor force, skilled everything. So it is a huge civilization. And there was a way of paying the wages. And even if you have a small city of say 10,000, how many people you have support towns you need? Because somebody has to, because in city you don't have farming. So those cities has to do farming, bring all the vegetables, all the food, everything there, sell it, support it. They need clothes, they need everything. So that is why it is called civilization, because and there is also an entity which is collecting the tax for the good, because the streets are not done by people. There is another organization, a king, or cabinet, that takes care of that after taking the tax from everybody. So I say, you didn't show that, and you are writing this kind of article and doing your thesis. I said, that's a rubbish. She doesn't talk to me anymore, but that's how it went. Yeah. So the last slide, I think. This is the last, huh? So these are the things that, safeguarding donations from misuse. Due diligence, do the due diligence, know the history. It's not only our history. I mean, not only university history I'm talking about. Know the history of India. Because until you know the history of India, that what kind of things were done by whites, Europeans to us, we will not understand. Just because, now you are prosperous and you have a lot of money, they respect you. No, they just want your money. Once they get your money, they are on their own. They will do whatever they want to feel like. See? So we have to remember their history, learn their history, and also remember ours, that we don't want to damage ourselves. It's like giving them a gun so that they can fire on us. See, so that's it. So here the line is, Gora Sahib did not come to India to feed poor. They came to steal from us. think of the damage your donation can do. Always think that I'm giving this money, what damage it can do. Like if somebody is, really poor, he has a poor family, and just walking around and you give $100,000 rupees to that person, 1 lakh rupees, and it turns out that he is a Muslim and jihadi. What is he gonna do? He will buy AK-47 and the bullets with that money. He's not gonna use it for family. So you have to think that what damage your donation can do. And it's better to find the gurukuls, and give it to them rather than, even in India, instead of give it to, Hindu institutions, and give it to gurukuls, because they are starving and they need, and they will do our, advance our Hindu agenda. They are the one who will advance rather than sending all this money abroad. So, and sometimes I know, when they give $50 million, they could set up, university in India for less money sometime. But they don't want to bother with that, because then it becomes a responsibility, hiring people, hiring to run, and they might turn out bad, even worst, So that's so let's see. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope everybody learned something.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, sir, for simplifying a very difficult and complex to understand topic, because understanding donation structures and what their ramifications can be is something that people have written voluminous books about, but it is still something that hasn't reached to people because of its lack of simplification. So you have given your insights in a way that it can be consumed by all of us, and I hope that all of our viewers really enjoy it. We wish to have more such talks with you. Thank you very much. Namaste.